What do we got? Hello there, Archie. I can barely see the monitor, man. Like, it is so bright out here. Holy shit. I turned the monitor up as bright as I could, or the screen or whatever. I can just barely make it out. How you doing, Archie? I'm gonna go get a bottled water. I'll be right back. Don't need a coffee. I need a bottled water. It's death hot. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I had my morning coffee. That was about it. That's all I needed. I can feel, I can smell the rain coming. The humidity is just over the top. Oh yeah, that's forever here. Like somebody's playing music. I wish you guys could hear the garbage truck music. Every garbage truck has its own distinct music pattern uh, to alert people that the garbage truck is coming, because you can't leave garbage outside. You have to build either you build a like above ground holding unit, like I guess a bear bin for lack of a better term. Yeah, oh yeah, it's local coffee, of course. But so the garbage truck plays music, and I've got it good. I've got a one-way street here, so when I hear the music, I get time to. So it goes by, goes all the way down to the end of the street, and comes back, so I can get my garbage out. Because you just can't leave it out. You just can't. Because when it's high up, sometimes the birds get at it. Cats will climb. But if you leave your garbage out for more than a day, unless it's just all soiled toilet paper, they're gonna go through it. Yep, there you go. This There is an ice cream truck that comes around the neighborhood every once in a while. I don't. The kids know the music. I don't. So when you see them going batshit crazy, they know the truck's coming. Oh yeah, you need this. And this one's just bubbles and water. So it's agua natural con gas. Mineral. Agua mineral natural con gas. Played Spanish Scrabble last night. Yeah, my vocabulary sucks, but because I was playing the children, I won. So I felt good. I didn't feel too retarded, so it wasn't so bad. But yeah, oh yeah, the rain's coming. We've got some dark clouds, but we need the rain bad now. Retro, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Enjoying your videos, enjoying your AI stuff. Uh, if you ever do heavy metal over again with I will forever be your fan. If they can take heavy metal, the original, not heavy metal 2000, that was shit. Heavy metal with the great soundtracks, Journey and all that, with no, just take the audio out and put it in with the brand new AI, retro punk, kind of like what they've got sort of with these new steampunkish, Jetsons, Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy type revamps with AI. With all the girls are just completely over the top, and it's well done. I mean, I don't know if you're at that level yet, but I hope that you could, man. Heavy Metal was just a great movie. It's a great. It really is a good movie. I hope the wind isn't too bad today. Got a nice breeze coming through here. I'm in the shade. Because, man, I went for lunch just for a walk up the road here, and it is just death. It's death. And my bare feet are just getting beat up. It's just like it's so hot. Like if after 12, the road gets almost impassable. Almost gets impassable. So hopefully the signal is good. We've been having internet problems. So if you get the wheel of death, be patient. Only 20F here in New York. Wow, that's cold. Yeah, deep freeze in Canada too as well. Like back home, we're gonna get down to about minus. It's supposed to be minus 17 at night. So, well, that's centigrade. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. I think it's around zero Fahrenheit. So that's pretty cold. But not having that problem here. Yeah, going for a swim pretty well every night around 6 o'clock when the sun is just completely. I've got 40 minutes left and then do a sunset. And yes, I don't know if I made a video. Have I made a video? The Sony is dead. The Sony camera, RIP Sony camera. You've done a good job for the last 12 or 13 years, and all my fault. I should have moved it up another 3 feet, and I didn't. And now it completely got submerged in salt water. All my fault, of course. I just where's the Omega 13, eh? If I could have pressed the button right at that time, and I'm gonna go back and move my camera before, you know, just disgusting. I was so disappointed. Yeah, and it was such a good, like for the budget that it's under. It's not an expensive camera, $400, but it was HD. It had good features. It was robust. It was heavy. And just so pissed off at myself. Can't blame anybody. Can't blame it on the rain. Can't blame it on tourism or anything like that. It was all on this guy. And boy, do I hate it when it's my fault completely. I'm a normal human. I could blame the wave, but that's like damn you, gravity. How come you worked today when I fell off the building? Well, too bad, so sad. Yeah, I'm going to hope that Sony's got something comparable with a comparable budget, but I just don't know. That's been 12 years. They've got to have moved on, And now I've got to find something that hopefully it won't be a trial and error. But anyway, maybe we'll go 4K. I don't know if that's going to work. A lot of people are doing 4K videos now. This it's a Logitech Logi HD 1080p USB plug-in. It's not a bad camera, but it has limitations as well, right? But the day of that camera death was great body surfing. Well, it was just wonderful. It was high tide. The waves were like, I'm going to say a good 6 feet, good size waves. Very powerful. Okay. Yeah, it's going to happen. Just been really like, it feels like the lines are dirty. There's some noise on the line and then it causes a stutter. Like I was doing a lot of speakeasy tests, speakeasy.net or whatever for the internet tests, and I was getting, 60 and then it would drop down to 2 and doing this. And I'm like, wow, that's so unstable. But yeah, if you get the circle of death, be patient. It'll probably come back, like it shouldn't be very long, maybe up to a minute, but I can't see it being any worse than that. If it goes and it freezes forever, then it's done. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Tron, great, another great movie. I don't know if they really need to do anything with it to bring it up to speed. Yeah, they could clean it up with AI, I suppose. That would be good. Tron was a great movie. I love all those. Well, the '80s and 70s, '80s, '90s were just great for film. We had, everything changes. For me, the '90s, around '84, starting with Terminator, and then just carrying through all, even going back to The Thing. But The Thing was all, it wasn't anything digital. It was all real world effects. But starting with the Terminator all the way, the Total Recall and all those effects as it started to come in on itself, Predator and stuff like that. It just, movies got better and better. And then somewhere around after Matrix, maybe after maybe early 2000s, then everything just went, just kind of, and now it's just when I was watching, I don't know if you guys watched The Critical Drinker, you know, I like fairly popular movie reviewer online, and he was just this new movie about some interesting he she stuff with musical stuff. And funny enough, with this the starlet from Guardians of the Galaxy, Zoe Saldana, is that her name? I don't. And then and it just like, this is what they're giving us. This is what we're getting for movies today, and that's just, I watched this video, and then I was like, no, that's got to be it. This, he's trolling us. This can't be real, And then yeah, he's funny. He's got good comedic. I'm sure he probably was a stand-up comedian, because it's not just about him reviewing movies. It's his it's the way he goes about it. He's hilarious to listen to. Always alluding to his drunkenness and everything like that. He could be completely sober for all we know. It's just a caricature, right? But still. So when I looked at that movie, I can't remember the title of it. It's something, but it's a lot of singing. It has to do with somebody going from this to the other side, and I'm like, oh. And then to look at what's going on in Hollywood and the response from the from that side, oh, it's got nine, are going to get awarded for nine, or going to be nominated for nine awards, and I'm like, no, that's not possible. From what I've seen, it's crap. So how is that possible? So we know that it has nothing to do with anything. Hey man, there's people out there that hate Star Wars. Okay, you could be one of them. You know, people think, like, I think Siskel and Ebert. There was a couple of movies that I really like. They didn't like Highlander. They thought it was stupid, but I don't think they got it. They didn't even look at the cinematography. They didn't look at the scene transitions, or the music, or anything like that. They just, like, I don't know if they were paid to poo-poo the idea or whatever, but I'm like, really, dudes? Wow, you couldn't have got it any more wrong on that one. But then again, everything's personal opinion, right? So anyway, so just laughing about that. Oh wow, 12 minutes in and I haven't said anything, but anyway, hope the Wheel of Death isn't killing you off right now. But yeah, so what did I want to talk? Well, uh, the gift that keeps on giving. The Orange Man Bad. I mean, listen, uh, if he wasn't on the list, like, it would seem that he is like what he said about Gaza, and what he said about, we're going to turn it into a paradise. We need everybody to leave so we can rework it and rebuild homes so that it's a paradise and everything like that. I was just sitting there, like, with my mouth open, going like, really? Like, and but what was even more funny, in my opinion, is the way he was talking in the press conference, and he was alluding to the destruction, and it's a shithole. You can't go there right now. You can't live there right now. It's destroyed. You can't live there. You gotta move out so we can rebuild. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna rebuild. We're gonna have, modular homes that we get from FEMA that we haven't used because we wanted to lock everybody up. So it's just like, and then the stooge, that the criminal that was standing right next to him, and I'm like, listening to this going on and on. But what I can say is it is absolutely lit the interwebs, which is really funny to see, because people have just completely, and why I say the gift that keeps on giving, like, what's his pickle over Do Dissidents, the uh, Keaton, the bleached cowboy, and the aging rock and roll star Russ Dobular. Just, they got a bit of the TDS, I think, but they just, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So for the alternative media and for the regular types, because I think that even it's the gift that keeps on giving for everybody. It's just a window that's open, slamming back and forth. So, but yeah, so just I couldn't believe it. I'm just on a point now where, with that statement, uh, uh, he's jumped the shark. Well, like, I never was a Trumper anyway. I was always like holding a hope. Maybe you kind of hold that kind of hope. Maybe he might fix something, or he's appealing to all the hot button topics, like with the tariff thing, and now the we're going to look at the borders here in Canada, and we're going to make sure that everything's okay. And I'm like, and then, but it's, I think we're just ignoring the elephant in the room, and we're just, it's whatever uh, bleeds leads, kind of thing. Oh, car crash, shiny thing. Look over here. This is. I know he's appealing to his base. I know he's appealing to his donors. We all know that. So there's no real rocket science on this one. So we'll leave it at that. But I mean, they're all over the fact that he pushed Netanyahu's chair. I mean, he's being polite. You normally only do that for women, like, because I'm old school, right? Like, a woman sits down and you push your chair in for her as you get up when a woman walks in the room, stuff like that. I'm old school, but for that was like a. I don't know if he was just polite. Maybe that's what he does for his buddies back home. And he seats everybody in his house, make sure everybody's got a seat. Then he pushes them in, tucks them in, gives them a little pat on the ass. I don't know. So, but wow, I was really quite shocked by his statement. But in listening to what he had to say, you know, look who he's talking to. He's talking to the people that are in a mindset, and he's saying, it's just like Peter Poilievre in Canada. He's saying just the right things, so that people go, okay, good. Meanwhile, like the real problems are the homelessness, the dumbing down of our population, the food prices, the fact that the global economy is shit since we did this CV 1984. It wasn't great before that, but we were kind of holding our own, and then that just seemed to, even here, like I said, it really hurt them. It really set them back. The only people that do well in those kind of situations are the people who have the money. Anybody else, you know, like when you hear the like the stupidity about the like, oh my crap, like back home, we've got our little paper, or our little group for our town. We call it the complainicator. Most of us, it's the communicator, the Nakusp communicator, and we call it the complainicator. But it's like, once again, we've divided and we've pushed people to each side, and it's, buy Canadian, just send all that red, like our premier in British Columbia, JC, good to see you, brother, live long and prosper. Our premier in British Columbia, Ebby, the mental case, we're not gonna accept any booze from red states. Like, I don't know, do they practice these things in the mirror, saying these stupid things? We've got to come together as a North American Union. I mean, there's no way we should be fighting each other. Like, you've got this, we've got that. I'd love to have all the fruits and vegetables from Mexico just coming straight up to Canada. That would be my thing. But it's the rhetoric. It's this nonsense of he against me against you, and whatever. Where we need to have to come together as a unit. One planet, one people. I know that's very Pollyanna, but it's completely ridiculous. We're not. All the mayors. The only one that worth a damn, in my opinion, right now, that one that seems to be reasonable in Canada is Danielle Smith. But then again, I'm right leaning conservative, center right sort of. So liberal conservative, whatever you want to call me. I used to vote liberal back in the day. I was a Jean Chrétien guy. I was a Pierre Trudeau guy. I was a who was the other one in the and then when I joined the military, I went to Mulroney and Harper and all that stuff. So but I want to hear what they have to offer the people. I don't care about anything else, but like, and I'll just segue into a couple of things that have happened most recently. One in Canada, in our First Nations, guy goes crazy, kills a whole bunch of people, and this is where I say, with the elephant in the room that we're not addressing. We're worrying about you know, what's going over on in the sandbox, you know, and once again, what he said about the sandbox, you know, like about the U and the R, and I was like, who's briefing you, bro? Like, come on, like you've got, it's almost like as bad as the Iraq stuff, you know, like who's giving you your information? Because no, no, no. But for me, I don't care who the leader is. I want to see them, like, you know, it was great here, you know, way back when, and take the way back when time machine, uh, when Rafael Correa was in here, and it was wonderful, prosperous. Everybody was happy. Nobody's happy right now. Elections this weekend here, so we'll see what happens. Families going. You have to. Here's the kicker here. You got to go back to your hometown where you were born. You got to. It's like you have to turn into a salmon here when it comes to election time. You got to go back to where you were born or where you were registered as an adult. So they've got to go back to their hometown, which is about 5 hours away on bus. They were like, "Do you want to come for election day?" And I'm like, "No, thanks, man. It's going to be bedlam that weekend. Thanks, but because everybody's going to be traveling, going back to their own hometown. So no, thanks." But yeah, but the complainicator back home is just like, you know, it's pictures of, you know, people who don't even vet or don't even think, you know, buy this soup because it's made with Canadian lentils, you know, but everything else is from Thailand. You know, it's stupid. We need to come together. We need to figure something out, and know and understand that we're being manipulated again, because nobody's talking about the real issues. You know, yes, we have problems with the border. Of course, we've always had problems with the borders. People coming in that shouldn't come in, whatever, what have you. I mean, crap. It is what it is. But the real problem is like what happened in Sweden. We can talk about that. I'm sure you guys have already seen the headlines. You know, and it comes down to a mental health issue. You know, and what happened with the in the First Nations here, where the fella went off and killed 4 people. Now, supposedly it started with a break-in. We don't know. We don't know the whole story, but what is it? You know, if hard times are coming, along with hard times, so will bad things come as well. It, you know, I know they say the hard times bring hard men, you know, and then the hard men bring good times, and then the good times bring soft men, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is that we're not addressing the real issues. We're not addressing the mental health. We're not addressing the, you know, the what I deem as the 4 years of stupidity that has really solidified those situations, like the loners who were stuck in their houses, who were loners anyway, and now really enjoyed being stuck in their houses, and that, you know, wearing a mask and a hood up and sunglasses so that they could not be identified. And then there's people who that's their thing, and that's their thing. But in my opinion, I believe so humans are social creatures, like you know, like chimpanzees or monkeys or whatever. uh, we need contact with each other. I know for myself, if I'm, you know, stuck inside somewhere. Oh, something's going on with the screen. Everything okay? I hope. But I know for myself, if I let this thing just start spinning around, then it gets really bad. I start, you know, believing that my shit don't stink, and then, oh, what's that smell? It must be them. It's not me. Oh no, I haven't had a shower. Oh yeah. I'm not. Yeah, You see what I mean? Like, if Justin Trudeau had been reasonable, you know, we can argue the pros and cons of his father. He was not his father. You know, the West hated him, but the East Coast loved him. You know, but like an absolute, just a terrible person in the job. And then his picks were just terrible. Stephen Guilbeault, Melanie Jolie, you know, like we say in France, ben joli, pero no, you know, but, you know, pretty, but jolie is pretty, but anyway, pretty dumb, you know. And yes, Canada could be something on the stage, but his leadership was terrible. Like, he really drove us into the toilet, you know. I mean, it wasn't just him; it was the people around him and stuff like that, and all the policy decisions. I mean, look at the gun control bullshit, yeah, that the liberals are trying to pass, you know, especially during on the anniversaries of all the gun violence that we've had in Canada. It's limited, but we've had it. But one good thing, Peter Poilievre says he's going to repeal all that shit. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see the proofs in the pudding. Um, because like you look at what happened in Toronto with all of that, that they show us the one video of the bang bang bangers and they're all like shooting at each other with completely legal weapons you're not supposed to have in Canada. You can't buy an Uzi 9mm. You can't buy what they were brandishing in that video. You can't buy those kind of things, or if you can, it's like a forever waiting list, and you need to be vetted to get it. Like for me to get my pistol license, I had to qualify on another level to get a pistol. Anybody can get a rifle in Canada, but to get a pistol is another thing. They'll do more checks on you. Gonna call your ex-wife. I don't know if they did call mine, but anyway, might have been enough time gone by. But I mean, but then again, it's shiny things. Shiny thing. Look here, look now, what we're doing for this. But really, in the long run, it doesn't mean anything. Food prices are still going up. Sweden, from what I gather, it was some lone nut, some guy who's, completely isolated more and more and more and more and more. And then your brain just starts getting squirrely. And I'm going to say this, and I have no proof, and I'm just going to say this, pull this out of my ass. But if all you're doing is watching this, like myself, and I'm watching this, let's say I'm a lone nut and I'm home and I've got mental health issues, and I'm using drugs or whatever, or drinking alcohol, then my brain is going to shift. It's going to change. And this is where I'm pulling this right out of my ass. If for whatever reason there's subliminal messaging, or there's some kind of signal coming through my interwebs, and it's affecting my brain, and it activates the Manchurian Candidate in me, then what couldn't ask for perfect something more better. But we have to address these issues. I tell people, like I said, I've said this before in all of my videos. I've said this to people in the gym, and I said, if you don't see me for all of a sudden I drop off the end of the world, something happens in my life and I decide that, I drop off the end of the world, and the last thing I want to do is see people and like that, because that's not normal for me. So that means something's gone wrong. It means that Michael is starting to lose his shit. His cheese is coming off his cracker, and you need to knock, 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 knock. Now, I could tell you to F off. I could, scream at you or whatever, but that even tells even more proof positive that, yeah, he's coming unglued. We need to, now I'm not, I'm not going to argue the pros and cons of it, of what to do. Like my poor buddy who, he was going through a period where, he had bad things happen during his service, and he had bad PTSD. And, his girlfriend was concerned about him, so she called a welfare check in on him. Yeah, sometimes those don't go too well. So I don't have the answer for that, but we need to identify that. We need to know that that is a problem. And we need to realize that that is more of an issue than turning God. That's why I put that thumbnail, turning, yes, I want to rebuild Gaza, of course, but, you can't turn it into Mara Gaza. You know what I'm saying? So we have, you need to get to your core. You need to get to your base, and you need to make them strong. If you can make them strong and resilient, then everything else is gravy. But unfortunately, with like all politicians, and with like more, I shouldn't say all, but I should say most. Why isn't Thomas Sowell in government? Well, he's probably too smart. Why isn't Thomas Sowell your president? I mean, he's old. He's like 90. I wish he, and I listen to him talk. I've never heard him say anything really stupid. Why isn't he being, why? Why do we have guys like Trudeau, Keir Starmer, why do we have them and we don't have anything worth a shit? Yeah. Yo, I can't wait to see more of your stuff, man. Oh, no way. You lost your stepdad? I'm sorry. Loss is horrible, man. You know, I hope you're I hope you're okay. Hope you're okay. You know, good leadership gives good people. And if we don't have good leadership, we don't have anything, you know, it's like with anything, you know, like team sports or I can think back to my military time when, you know, when my boss was really good, you know, you'd be working for one department and then be a switchover, you know, and every 3 years, even internally, you'd get a change of parade. You know, you'd go from this department to that department, you know, because they just want to keep rotating the people. And then you get from one boss, and then it turns out that, you know, all of a sudden you get this guy come in and it's completely different and it's just shit. And then the morale goes into the toilet and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And you're like, what happened? You know, we need good leadership. We're not getting it. We need good, orderly direction. I know that's a play on words, and if you want to look at it, for me, I've got my higher power, but I look at the word God, as good, orderly direction. If it's good and orderly and in a direction that is good, then it's good. And that's why I look at that word, and you know, like you can read the book and you can go with that, but um, do and this is a kind of a railing against the I would, for lack of a better term, the worshippers down here in Canada, down south, wherever, you know, and looking at what's being done around the world, and they're just like, well, you know, it's this or it's that, and I like, well, no, it's not good and orderly, and it's not in a good direction, so it's shit, you know, it's crap. A good, orderly direction is what we should be following, you know, and that's it. It's as simple as that for me. You know, I'm not perfect though, and I make mistakes. Admit our mistakes, shortcomings, defects of character. I can tell you one thing: when you pull it out of the fridge, this is already warm. With the warm breeze going by, it's already warm. It's not even cold anymore. Oh, okay. Ah, massive stroke. Was he lucid and everything before, and then it just all of a sudden hit, and then he was gone? And you know, I don't want to sound callous. That he didn't suffer, like, you know, uh, I hope he went peacefully, you know, for lack of a better term, you know. My one of my diver buddies just passed away most recently. I used to work for him. He'd gotten out of the military and started his own civilian dive company. So I'd moonlight for him every once in a while. He died most recently, but he died in, you know, with his family at his side, you know, and his dog and everything. So I don't know, like my other buddy back in the cusp, my doctor buddy was there, but they gave him the MAID, the medical assistance in dying. It's stage 4 cancer, and he was in a lot of pain. So his end wasn't good at all, like not at all. Like he was in, you know, like I don't know, I don't know that, but I know that from his wife that he was in excruciating pain, you know, for breathing and because his lungs were done, right? I guess stage 4 lung cancer can be bad. Fuck. If there's one thing I can hate cancer. You know, like it just consumes you. You know, it's such a bad one. It's like, you know, when you listen to the Rambo, when Rambo shows up at Delmar's house and talking to his mother and just brought the cancer back from Nam, ate him up. I could lift him off the sheets, you know, and you know, just especially like when I look at when I've seen like my buddy, you know, like my buddy, you know, everybody calls in Canada, everybody calls everybody buddy, but my diver friend that, you know, passed away recently, and it was from cancer, if I'm not mistaken. That it gets sad, because you just watch the person that was there before. It's like it's probably like Alzheimer's or dementia and like that. Watch somebody who's a Scrabble champion or whatever, and uh, then they don't know who, then they don't recognize you. Like like we could a case that we all know, Bruce Willis, something like that. Sidney Poitier when at the end, I feel bad. Not to say that I want to go in a fiery plane crash, strong and then dead, but you know, I don't know. Weird, sad. Chemo. Yeah, I know. Yeah, chemo. You got to be strong for chemo. Yeah, yeah. I hope I'm strong enough in the end. I hope I'll be a viable candidate. I'll be able to give. I want to be able to be doing stuff until like going to get my own water and doing stuff for people. Especially taking care of some of the, like when I used to shovel for my seniors out across the street for me. And I feel like I'm lucky that I've got that I can do that for people, and I look at that as a blessing. And if all I am is just some monkey who's strong, then great. I'm happy with that. Not the sharpest tack in the drawer, but strong enough that I can help my fellow man. I really hope when the push comes to shove, I hope that that's going to be my thing. I'll be a viable, not, I hope that my brain works, that I can not react out of anger, and I can think, and that I have that, and I'm not killing people for a banana and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that I always say when I pray, I always like, uh, don't, I want to help, not hurt. And that's what it boils down to. So we can only hope about that. But yeah, I know that people are being pushed to their limits right now, and now with this latest foray into insanity, up here in Canada and America with this thing going on, it's like I don't think uh, it's not. It's not the Orange Man bad. For love him or hate him, whatever. I don't care. I don't have a dog in the race here, but we need to concentrate on our people. We need to concentrate on the homeless. We need to concentrate on what's making people miserable and not making them happy. You know, it used to be a lot better before. And people say, "Hey, yeah, that's just like you're thinking back with rose-colored glasses," and I'm like, "No, it was a much simpler life back in the '70s." I was a kid in the '60s, right? I was born in '63, so the '70s is really when I started noticing things and how good we had it. You know, then a couple of things happened, and then just more oppression and globally. Like, yeah, okay. Like I was watching a movie the other day, and Rockford Files, not movie. I was watching a Rockford Files episode, because I was here and I've got the Rockford Files on disc. So I was watching, and it's the '70s, right? So I'm like, he's at the restaurant, or he's at whatever the freaking donut or the hot dog stand that he goes to with his client or whatever, and he's having a butt, smoke's blowing in her face while she's mowing down. You didn't hear anybody complaining. Put that cigarette out. Like, I'm not going to argue the pros and cons of smoking, okay? But they've taken things away, you know. I can remember going into America, and I remember on the ski bus back in the '70s, when you'd go on the ski bus and you'd go to Burlington. You'd go. We'd ski in Maine. We'd ski, Sugarloaf. We skied in New York. We skied in Vermont. We skied a lot of places in America. Part of our ski thing, and the guy would come on the bus. Everybody Canadian? Yeah, okay. And he'd just go home, go back to his booth and eat his sandwich, and you know, it's just crazy. It's gotten less and less fun, and but what I've noticed is that uh, when people are trying to have fun, there are people that just who seem to be hard done by that. They don't they're not fun people anymore. You could argue the Kens and Karens and all that stuff. There's a myriad of videos on people complaining, or like hosing down the across your neighbor's fence because he's having a barbecue and the smoke's blowing in your yard, or like we've lost our way. We've lost our way. I'm not gonna. I know it's been as the screws tighten, it makes it harder for us. Yeah. Is there a big study about like uh, the smoking thing? Like, I know it's horrible. I'm pretty sure it's bad for you. But was it that, like, okay, let's say, like, if we gained 6 months of your life or whatever, or like, I'm sure there's some people that are really susceptible to certain things, and if you drink, like for me, it goes really badly, and I'd probably be some gray-haired old man at 62 and really looking old. My skin would be different, never like that. But I haven't had a drink, so maybe that aspect. But are we really any better off for all the controls and things that we've taken away from the people? Are we really that much better off? Our people are more weak. Our people are more out of shape. If you were to take a, a, a do a survey of people, like, and I don't know if they've manipulated number. Are we really that better off? You know, can we go back to simpler times? Is it possible? Because we're spoiled, right? Good to see you, Lawrence. Good to see you. Yeah, because like I argue with my I don't argue, but I argue the point with my bingo girls. Yeah, there was some of them that were just so unhealthy, eating their bag full of Oreos, the whole bag full of Oreos while they were playing Scrabble, or a whole bag full of Cheetos, or getting the kitchen that was open, and they'd be getting two or three hot dogs, with white bread and everything like that, and you look at some of them like, okay, maybe not for you. But then I look at the other crew, and it's like, okay, break time, and four of them go outside. They're in their 80s, they're puffing away, and I'm like, okay, hang on a second. Okay, hang on a second. Where does that math come in? And with your statement, Lawrence, yeah, like I look at cancer is a disease or something like that, and it gets in on you, and then I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer, but it just seems like it's haphazard. It doesn't matter, like the we have a girl back home, wonderful young lady. I think she's in her mid 30s, very beautiful. I think native Canadian, cross, that just beautiful, and vegan. Lives a good healthy lifestyle. Doesn't smoke. Doesn't drink. Uterine cancer. What? And then going through chemo, completely eradicated it, and then just before I left, we saw her at the Christmas, just after Christmas, during one of those outdoor yard sale or fairs in our cold little town. It's back, and she was just like, yeah, I feel like I can't get out of bed, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Meanwhile, I think it comes down to the individual. Meanwhile, we got people in town that are using or drinking, and they're in their 60s, and they're still going strong, and they just keep putting the poison into them, and nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, this matrix is fucked. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, like, I don't think we need to live like the Pope. Well, that's not a good example. Pardon me. I apologize. I'll take that back. Not to say that we should live like Julie Andrews in The Sound of. I'm just saying, like a good, like a nun. I don't think that's the case. I don't know what it is. I think stress is a lot. Stress, like stress on the body, mental stress has a lot to do with everything, and it deforms your cells or whatever. And I think that that's the case. It's like when I got sick. I don't know if you guys remember back in 21 when I got, shingles, septicemia, and I got the skin cancer. All three things, pow, 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 all at once. And that was just post the lockdown, just around that time. And my mental health had just cratered. And I was like not hitting on all sixes. I'd lost a lot of weight. I wasn't, I can remember the gym times. I was struggling. I was losing weight, just eating as much as I could eat, but something was wrong. And then all of a sudden, bam, I got sick, and I got sick bad. Now, what? What? Like all of a sudden, and I wasn't the only one. So I look at that and I'm like, okay, I think we've been sold a bill of goods. Everything has been blamed on this, you know. Like I'll argue the cigarettes and the alcohol thing. I'm not going to argue that children should do it or whatever, but I'll leave it to the adults to decide whether their kids are going to drink beer or smoke cigarettes at 16. My dad said as soon as you earn your money you can smoke, but that was back in the day. So as soon as I had my own job, I could smoke cigarettes. That was his decision. I'm not going to argue that. But what we've got now is we've got like I think we've been sold a bill of goods. I think it's something else. Don't go out on Monday because the sun's going to be activating and it's going to activate your genes and then it could possibly make you sick. So you should be inside. But I don't know. But it doesn't seem to be what they've been telling us. Yes, we could, we have some evidence about certain food types, if you eat too much sugar. But then again, I look at a guy who's like, a sugaraholic. He was the Fly in Another Life. He's Jeff Goldblum, and nothing, doesn't gain weight. For people who hate me back home, it's like, when I go to the gym and I say, oh crap, I'm trying to gain weight, and the girls are like, shut up. I have a different type metabolism than maybe you guys, and I can eat like bagged potato chips and it doesn't even affect me, but other things do. So I think we've been sold a bill of goods, and for lack of anything else, we take it and we go with it. I know for myself through trial and error that alcohol doesn't work for me, so I have to negate it from my existence. Now, cigarettes, the only reason I don't smoke is because they're too fucking expensive. I can go grab a cigar from the cigar store because you can buy them in singles here. I can puff away at a cigar, take a little bit into my lung, a little bit, like a little, but not because you get sick. I did that with a Cuban, a Havana, and I inhaled it and I was smoking it like a cigarette and I hadn't smoked in a while. Boy, did I get sick. Like I didn't puke, but I was like, oh, I got to go lay down, But yeah, so, at some level, we've got to get tested to find out exactly what's going on. Because like you said, Lawrence, a guy who smoked all his life, died at 90 years old, with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Then there's the argument, well, he probably could have lived to 120. Well, yeah, okay, prove it. But whatever, And then you get the guy, lived the life of Riley, or lived the life of a perfect virgin, didn't do this, didn't stress and everything like that, He had a heart attack and died. He had a stroke, whatever, it's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, everybody needs to look at their own health and figure out their own body. This is your body. Well, this is mine. Yours is your own. You got to figure out what works for you through trial and error. Lady Elizabeth upstairs, she, poor thing, she's allergic to coconut in Ecuador. Like, oh man, that's savagely sorry. Because coconuts are so good for you, but there might be something else that works on the planet for her. She can't have coconut, but she can have this. Michael can't have alcohol, but he does smoke pot, and he's okay with that, and it doesn't really do any effect. I'm not on the weed down here. I'm completely off. I just want to do another cleanse. But yeah, okay, maybe that. So everybody's got to do their own figuring it out, but we got to keep the entities that don't give a shit about us, and it's always about the Benjamins, to dictate and tell us that, okay, no more sugar for everybody, or no more coffee for everybody. I've got guys like who's I listening to most recently? Jeffrey Sachs. Jeffrey Sachs, he says he drinks coffee all day long. Carlson, I think, is another one. They drink coffee like it's water. If I pass 2 or 3 coffees, I'm a whirling dervish. My guts start going, and then I start getting the EBGBs and whatever. So I have to be very careful. But these guys are drink coffee all day long. You know, Andre the Giant could drink 120 beers. Yeah, yeah, and I do look at myself as a freak of nature too, because I when I compare my other to myself with other guys in my other age demographic, you know, you know, I can still I'm still okay. I'm okay, so I'm happy, and I'm gonna try and do my best to keep it that way. But I know that there's certain things that I cannot do. I need to sleep. I'm not one of those people that can go with 2 hours like my buddy. Like I have a buddy who just I can sleep 3 hours a night and he's fine. What? You know? Yeah, mind over matter, eh, Lawrence? Like my sergeant used to say, we'd be bitching and moaning, and he was a British Marine. He'd come over to Canada, and he joined our military. And this guy was Rutger Hauer. He could pull nails out of wood. Like I'm being dramatic, of course, but this guy was so tough, like just disgustingly tough. I would just marvel. Uh, and he would look at us and he'd say, "It's all mind over matter, boys. Mind over matter. If I don't mind, it don't matter." And he would look at us like to put the bullshit on us, and that goes for us too as well. If I don't mind, you know, it don't matter. Like especially with stress. Last night my patience was being tested. Uh, you know, uh, with a bit of late night noise, and I said, "There's ways around that, Michael. If you don't mind, it won't matter. You're minding right now, and it's mattering. So stop minding, and it won't matter." And then I went and I did something, and then I could have had a V8. You know, these are the things we got to figure out. But unfortunately, right now we've got avaricial, hedonistic, narcissistic criminals in charge who think their shit don't stink, or who think that uh, we need to get the ones that are beholden to the almighty dollar, whatever, what have you. That here, take my pill, take my potion. Running for the helper of the mother's little helper. Maybe not. Maybe not, because they've lied to us. Look at Vioxx. Oh, we got to listen to ourselves now. Uh, if myself tells me that I can eat 17 Twinkies every day, I think myself is lying to myself. So that I have to, I have to look. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got to take control of yourself. Like, somebody was going on about the Orange Man bad. And I said, dude, why are you letting him rent space in your head? He's It's always been like that. It never has changed. So why all of a sudden now does it matter? You know, like, yeah, it's entertaining and it gives us something to do, and we can always, look at, like, the same thing with the T-Man, the turd. We can always look at him and say, oh yeah, okay, and we can laugh, and we can gives us something to I guess focus on, for lack of a better term. You know, but is it doing us any good? Yeah, absolutely. And there's some things that I do agree. Like, uh, when we cross the line back in our doctoring years, when the doctors figure out that washing their hands and not eating a chicken sandwich before they put it in your gut probably helped with infection and stuff like that. Wearing a mask, certain things are good. And then, but unfortunately, we look at this frickin' family, the Sackler, they should be all put to death. They should be all put to death because they knowingly did what they did. And it was all so that they could have more than somebody else. And it's simple as that. It's not that they were duped or they got it wrong or whatever. No, no, no. I'm sure that there are some things out there, like, okay, polysporin for my ears, thumbs up, man. Because I've had ears through diving and stuff like that. Thumbs up. Aloe plant goo works for your skin. It makes it nice. Polysporin, like the antibiotic thing. When we took a loaf of rotten bread and we made something out of it. Okay, there's certain things that we did that were good, but uh, now we've gone cuckoo bunk on boop 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 gunk gunk in our heads, where it all has to be like that. That's why, like, holistic doctoring is not worth its shit, because not only has it been vilified and poo-pooed by the guys who are, the drug deal, the legal drug dealers, the big pharma doctors who are beholden to the system, you know. But we need to get back to basics. We need to get back to basics. Yeah. Yeah, and I do believe that they and I'm being dramatic when I say put to death. I mean, they should be punished. The paying money is not a punishment. If like, the, pardon me, Bubbles, the affluency defense is not it's not a, well, you know no, they should be they are responsible for the deaths of many, many people, knowingly so. They weren't some innocent bystander, you know. And this goes throughout our history, but because of no accountability, and that's what we've been taught. But a monetary, like, if I had $1 billion and you find me, it should be all, and you have to work at McDonald's or whatever for the rest of your life, or you're removed. Like, we circle off Manhattan Island, we get rid of all the people, and we make that escape from New York, type situation, you know. But there's no consequence now, and that's a big thing. We don't have consequence. I love John Daly. John Daly was my favorite golfer. Jimmy Spencer was my favorite NASCAR racer, along with Kenny Schrader. Don't get me wrong, I love Dale, old Dale, and the old school. Guys used to have fistfights in the inner ring. But John Daly as a golfer with his loud pants, uh, you know, Andre the Giant, the quiet giant, uh, you know. Uh, I'd rather, if I was in a room right now and they were all together, if there was, I would talk to him before I would talk to Schwarzenegger, the Black Plowman, you know. Screw your freedom, guys like that, you know. Anyway, that's why I love it just with you guys here, because I'm nobody. We're just trying to figure it out for ourselves, which is great. You know, there's no effing way that I ever tell you how to live your life, or what shoe polish to buy, or you should. Of course I'll say, yeah, eat healthy, and of course, like that. Make sure you're true to your school and keep your stress level down. Basic stuff, but that's why I am where I am. So, and I enjoy it. I enjoy being an NPC nobody. I always enjoy these get-togethers, man. It gets my brain thinking. It gets me thinking. Then I read all your comments, and then gets us thinking. It's wonderful. It burns my onion now that I see some of these channels that have gotten too big. Like, I've completely been now. My comments don't even show up on CTV. Like, they just don't go anywhere. Like, I triple dog dare you to go find a comment of mine on the YouTubes. Even Facebook every once in a while. But yeah. Oh yeah, I want you all to do well. I want you to all be. I'm sorry for your loss, Retro, for your stepdad. Loss sucks. And I notice now as I get into this age group, my parents are over 80. They're strong as oxes. I come from good stock. I come from good slave stock. So I'm hoping that, like my dad, I'm like, hoping you live to be 100, man. I hope you have enough money. We always joke about that, eh? When we jokingly go back and forth, and he's like, I should give you some early inheritance. I'm like, keep your money. I don't need it. I'm good. You know, you better make sure that you're okay, because he has a certain lifestyle that he's attained, and once you've attained that, it's hard to go back, right? So, but yeah, no, I enjoy these sessions. This is what's important. Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's the most important. Like, like I was talking to my wife this morning. She's at home. She's spending time with her daughter and her grandson. And I got to see. He's not my grandson, but he's my grandson through marriage. So I was able to talk with him. And just, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's what we've got. So the most important things are friends and family, to keep your stress down, to make sure that they're okay, that they're hitting on all sixes, and that's all that matters when it comes down to it. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another? But yeah, great show. Yeah, it always is a great show. Once it gets going, and all of a sudden an hour's gone. I could probably do a 3 hour yapper, like the rest of them do, but that's if for whatever reason it gets to that case where we've got lots of time on our hands. But I find an hour is more than sufficient, and we can get things going, and then talk about some things and show you my nice garden here in Ecuador. I had another wonderful restaurant meal today. I went to my local restaurant, Almuerzo del Dia, the lunch of the day. Today was a tuna soup with all. You know what it looked like? The soup. It looked like your sink trap when you finished doing all your dishes after everybody had stew, and it literally looked like that, like with a bit of water thrown in. It was some kind of horrible brownish red color, but it was just lousy with, or filled with, if you want to use that term, with great items. Tuna, it had dumplings and veg, and then I had pescado. I had entero, like full fish, the head and everything, and they gutted it, and then they fried it with rice and plantain and salad and all that for 325 plus this. I get one of these at the restaurant. This is $1 at the restaurant. It's 25 cents in the store, but this is where they make a lot of their profit for people who come to the restaurant. But yeah. Oh, good, good. Your anime, yeah, I love your stuff. So I'm gonna keep checking on your gear and your work when I see it all. Yeah. It was completely yummy. Like, I was full. Like, the soup bowl was full. It was hot as f, which is great. And then the meal came, and then and a glass of fresh lemonade juice, lemonade punch, or whatever they, because they've got limes grow like they're like a scourge. They're everywhere. So it literally, it probably, to make that meal for them, costs like 50 cents. Good, it's all profit. But for us, 325, man. This The six of us went for a meal. The whole family, we went out for lunch in a restaurant 3 doors down. I don't know if I told you. For the six of us, $12.50. Yeah. Okay. Good luck in even trying to make that kind of meal with buying your own stuff at a market or something like that. I don't think it can happen. So, but wonderful meal. I don't know what I'm going to do for supper tonight. Might go get some street food, maybe some pork, maybe some rice. Who knows? Whatever it's going to be good, and it's going to be cheap. So, anyway, so we'll let it go. We'll let the show go. I'm going to go, and I will have a nap today in this heat, and I will go for a swim tonight for sure. So, the rain might be coming tomorrow. We'll see. But we need the rain bad. We need some moisture. We need some moisture. The whole country needs some moisture. So, anyway, thanks for coming out, guys. Appreciate everything you say, and everything, all the links and everything. Retro, I'll check your stuff out. Sorry again for your loss, Lawrence. I hope you're not freezing yourself to death in Oklahoma. Uh, I think Archie said it's 20F in New York. That's pretty cold. But you guys take care. You know, I'll try not to get heat stroke here because it's nasty hot. Like, it's to the point now where my feet, like yesterday, I had to pull my shoes out of my bag and put them on. I could not walk on the pavement. I was a little delayed, and it was bad. It was bad. It was that bad, burning hot to the point where I think I was damaging my feet. It was burning hot that bad. So I had to put my 5 fingers on just to protect my little tootsies, and so that's about where we are today in the world of barefootedness. So anyway, take care, peace to you and yours, and we'll hope to see you on the flip side. As always, peace, love, and grooviness, eh?